Okay, I want you to imagine a war. But this war isn't fought with tanks or rifles, it's fought with code. A conflict where the front line isn't some physical trench, but the invisible network that connects our entire world. And you know what? This isn't science fiction anymore. This is the reality of cyber warfare, and it is completely redefining what power and security even mean in the 21st century.
And this really gets at the fundamental shift, right? Traditional warfare is physical. You can see the soldiers, you know where the borders are. Cyber warfare is a completely different beast. It's digital, which means it's often invisible, and it knows absolutely no borders. The entire planet is the battlefield.
So, that brings us right into our first section, the invisible battlefield. And the central dilemma here is a big one. I mean, in this brand new domain of conflict, do the old rules of war even apply anymore?
And that's the core problem, isn't it? For centuries, we've had this agreement that even wars have rules. You've got the Geneva Conventions, international humanitarian law. But what happens when the attack is just a string of code? How in the world do you govern a conflict you can't even see?
So, how do you solve for this? Well, you have groups like the International Committee of the Red Cross trying to establish a kind of code of conduct. The main points are pretty clear. Don't attack civilian objects, leave medical facilities alone, and please do not use weapons like self-spreading worms that just cause damage everywhere. It's a direct effort to apply humanitarian law to our digital world.
And that brings us to the story of Stuxnet. Because with Stuxnet, this wasn't theoretical anymore. This was the watershed moment, the digital Rubicon that was finally crossed, proving that code could be a weapon with devastating, real-world, physical consequences. To really get Stuxnet, you got to understand the context. Geopolitical tensions had been building for years. Back in 2002, the US labeled Iran part of an axis of evil. By 2006, a covert cyber campaign, reportedly called Operation Olympic Games, was already underway. Then, bam, in 2010, the world discovers the Stuxnet worm. This was a targeted operation, years in the making.
So, how did it work? Well, Stuxnet's incredible power came from using 4 separate zero-day exploits. So, what's a zero-day? It's a security flaw that is completely unknown to the person who made the software. That means they have literally 0 days to fix it before it's used in an attack. It is the ultimate secret weapon in any hacker's arsenal. And what was the result of this digital weapon? Just look at this number. Approximately 1,000 of Iran's nuclear centrifuges were physically damaged or destroyed. Let that sink in. Malicious code reached out from the digital world and broke critical machinery in the physical one. This, of course, led to a huge legal question. Was Stuxnet an act of war? I mean, you could definitely argue it was an illegal use of force, but what's fascinating is what happened next. This curious global sound of silence. No nation-state, not even Iran, officially called it an act of war. Maybe because no country wanted to set a precedent that could be used against their own future operations. And just like that, a powerful and very ambiguous new standard was set.
So, what did the world look like after Stuxnet? Well, this brings us to what's called the new great game, where cyber operations became a standard tool of geopolitical competition. The floodgates were officially open. And this is the new landscape. Stuxnet, which was attributed to the US and Israel, really set the stage. But other major powers followed suit, and fast. You have Russia with that massive SolarWinds espionage campaign, and China with the huge data theft through the Microsoft Exchange hack. Cyber is now absolutely central to great power competition.
But here's the thing. This great game isn't just being played between nations. The conflict is expanding from major infrastructure down to individuals. The threat is now personal.
Take a look at this. It's just staggering. A 250% surge in supply chain attacks. So what that means is, instead of attacking a fortress head-on, adversaries are targeting the weaker links, the trusted software vendors and third-party suppliers that everyone, from small businesses to hospitals, relies on.
So how are they doing it? Well, the biggest way in, at 45%, comes from flaws in software dependencies. They're attacking the very building blocks of modern software. The shared code and open source libraries that pretty much everything is built on today.
So who ends up on the front line? It's us. It's civilians. Hospitals have been forced to cancel surgeries and divert patients. Energy grids, banks, even small businesses are now considered legitimate targets in this new war. The invisible battlefield is now right in our backyard.
So where is all of this heading?
Well, our final section looks to the horizon, the future of conflict. We're going to focus on the staggering financial costs and the looming role of artificial intelligence.
Let this number sink in for a second. By 2025, the projected global cost of cybercrime is expected to hit $10.5 trillion annually. This isn't just a security problem anymore. This is a global economic crisis in the making.
And at the very heart of this future conflict is artificial intelligence, which, it turns out, is a double-edged sword. For attackers, AI means automated discovery of weaknesses and hyper-realistic phishing scams. But for defenders, it offers new hope. AI can power behavior-based threat detection and proactively hunt for intruders. It's a high-stakes arms race for sure.
So, to bring it all together, we've gone on a journey from a single, sophisticated worm that physically broke machines to a world where code is a recognized and, frankly, a frequently used weapon of the state. Cyber warfare has fundamentally and permanently redefined what conflict even is.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. In the 21st century, with these invisible battles raging across borderless networks, where a single line of code can shut down a hospital or an entire power grid, is the most powerful weapon in the world one that you can't even see?